It was the year 1919. The First World War had ended, and people everywhere were looking forward to a new future. For the first time, flying was no longer just about war, it was about connecting people, traveling for business, and even enjoying the skies for fun. Aviation pioneers dreamed of carrying passengers high above the ground, giving ordinary people the chance to experience something that once felt impossible. One of these early aircraft was the Caproni CA.48, an Italian biplane specially designed to transport paying passengers. It was a bold and exciting idea, a glimpse into the future of air travel. But on a warm summer afternoon in Italy, what was meant to be a hopeful step forward suddenly turned into a terrifying tragedy.
The Caproni CA.48 was enormous for its time, capable of carrying more than 20 people when most planes could barely hold a handful. To many, it seemed like something out of science fiction. For the first time, ordinary civilians could imagine crossing countries by air in just a few hours instead of spending long days on trains or carriages. It felt like the beginning of a new age of travel. On August 2, 1919, a group of passengers gathered in Milan for a special flight to Venice. Some were businessmen, others were curious travelers eager to experience the wonder of flight. For them, this wasn't just a journey, it was history in the making. The excitement was contagious. People smiled, pointed at the massive aircraft, and spoke of the future with hope. But as the engines roared to life and the CA.48 lifted off the runway, no one could have known that this hopeful flight would end in disaster. As the great aircraft soared gracefully over Verona, the passengers could see fields and villages far below. It seemed like everything was going smoothly. But then, in an instant, disaster struck. People on the ground later testified to a horrifying sight. They swore they saw the giant wings of the CA.48 begin to twist and bend unnaturally under the strain of flight. A few moments later, the structure gave way. The massive wooden wings snapped apart, and the aircraft began to break up in mid-air. Within seconds, the proud machine that symbolized the future of passenger aviation was no longer whole. It disintegrated before the eyes of shocked witnesses, pieces scattering through the sky as the fuselage spiraled helplessly toward the earth. The wreckage came crashing down into the fields outside Verona with unimaginable force. The impact was devastating, nothing was left intact. In the silence that followed, smoke and broken pieces of wood and fabric scattered across the farmland told the story of what had just happened. Tragically, there were no survivors. Reports varied, but between 14 and 17 lives were lost that day. It was more than just a terrible accident, it was the world's first commercial airliner disaster. What had begun as a hopeful symbol of a new, peaceful future in the skies had turned into a scene of horror. The CA.48, once seen as a gateway to modern air travel, now lay in ruins. For a world eager to believe in aviation, the tragedy was a shocking reminder of how fragile those early dreams really were. The CA.48 tragedy revealed the fragility of early designs, especially bombers turned into passenger planes. Engineers soon realized the skies demanded new standards, stronger airframes, better safety measures, and careful design. From the ashes of that disaster, the foundations of modern commercial aviation safety were laid. Today, air travel is the safest form of transportation. But it all began with risks, sacrifices, and lessons paid for in blood. The crash of the Caproni CA.48 in 1919 will forever stand as the first tragic reminder of aviation's cost, and its unstoppable progress.